is what is a
slope aspect.
What?
Slope aspect.
Good. So what is a slope aspect? The slope aspect is the direction in which the slope face is what? The direction in which the slope faces. So elaborate is a side in which the slope is facing in relation to the sun's rays. So it means there is a side of the slope that is not going to receive the sun, and the side of the slope that is going to receive the sun. So what are those sides? In short, before I demonstrate to you, we have what we call the shadow zone. The shadow zone is the side of the slope which does not receive the sun's rays. And then we also have the other side. It means the opposite of the shadow zones, it means is the side that receives the sun's rays. And what is the name of that side? Any one of you? Angle of incidence. How many did you grab your point? Angle of incidence is the side which receives the sun's rays. So I conclude that you cannot understand the slope aspect if you don't understand the globe. So this is how we are going to understand it. Follow me. This is the globe, and there is a line that divides the globe into two shapes, and that is what is the equator. Do you understand? So, and in the equator, remember, it's very hot because the sun is overhead the equator. So it's very hot. So after the equator, it means Hisalana, the two shapes of the sphere. Okay. So the first one is the northern what?
Hemisphere.
And the second one is the southern what?
Hemisphere.
So let's focus on the northern hemisphere. In the northern hemisphere, we have got two slopes, okay? Which is the north and the south. So which one is going to be the north? This one will be the north of the northern hemisphere. And this one will be the south of the northern hemisphere. Do you understand? And so will it be in the southern hemisphere. We will have the what? The north of the
southern hemisphere.
And the south of the
southern hemisphere.
Good. So between the north and the south in the northern hemisphere, which one is close to the sun or facing the sun's rays? Is the south, okay? Which means the south is going to be warmer. It's going to receive the sun's rays from the sun. And the north is far away from the sun, okay? So in other words, in geographical term, we are going to say that in the south, is it the shadow zone or is it the angle of incident?
Angle of incident.
Good. So this is the angle of incident. And then the north will be the shadow zone. Good. Shadow zone. And then in the southern hemisphere, which one is the angle of incident between the north of the southern hemisphere and the south of the southern hemisphere?
The north
of the southern hemisphere will be the angle of incident because it receives the sun's rays, and then the south will be the shadow zone because it's far away from the angle of incident. So this is your shadow zone. Okay. So in short, the slope aspect is the direction in which the slope faces. Okay. So if you check here, we end up to a conclusion that the north of the northern hemisphere is colder than the south of the northern hemisphere. And then the north of the southern hemisphere is warmer than the south of the southern hemisphere. Because the north of the northern hemisphere is far away from the equator. The north of the southern hemisphere is close to the equator. So it means the south of the northern hemisphere close to the equator, north of the southern hemisphere close to the equator. So it means they are going to be warmer. But the south of the southern hemisphere is far away from the equator. And the north of the northern hemisphere is far away from the equator. And that is why in South Africa, Limpopo is hotter than Cape Town. Because Cape Town is in the north of the southern hemisphere. I mean in the south of the
southern hemisphere.
You understand? And then Limpopo is in the north of
The southern hemisphere.
good. So Limpopo is in the north, is not in the south. That's why we have the Mall of the North, because Limpopo is in the north. You understand? So this is what we're talking about when we talk about the slope aspect. Thank you. Meet you on another chapter. Can stop it.